Thank you, John. Ladies and gentlemen, this is quite a tough little task that's been given to me, but fortunately I've got the support of my very able co-authors on this presentation, Alma and Justin. But yeah, market access, standing up here after all the discussions leading up to this point is really where the rubber eats the road. And it's a multifaceted story, and it's hopefully one where you start seeing some of the challenges and opportunities coming together and becoming reality for future opportunities. In terms of sketching the opportunity on the one side and putting into context the importance of that opportunity in the future of the industry, the story of the industry's reliance on exports is well known to us all. It's essentially an export-driven industry in terms of its income. The exports aren't realized, the other components don't carry the industry. So it's really export or nothing in terms of the bigger picture. When we thing to move. What does it mean in terms of finding market access opportunities? You've seen some of these. Justin spoke about the forecast for the growth. This drills down a little bit more, looking at the age distribution of the plantings in the different citrus types. It gives you an indication of the volume to come or the continued contribution to increasing production in the future. I think the good news throughout these is that the contribution through new plantings to additional production has come to an end. So the peak of planting is behind us, and you can see that in the age spread of the different citrus types. Navels more so even than Valencias. Grapefruit, the same trend. Peak of planting was some 4 years ago. Lemons even much stronger so, and we're sitting, 2, 4, 6, 7 years back from the peak of planting. Mandarins likewise. So yeah, the peak of planting is over. The plantings aren't contributing to an exacerbation of the production capacity, but that yield of trees in the ground is to come. Also a bit of an expansion on what Justin showed you. This little graphic just shows you in the polygons the number of years that it took to get to the 500,000 ton marks. First 500,000 tons took 64 years. The next one 31 years, then 12, then 6, and the last 500 came out of 4 years. And if you see a scaled figure there at the top, since 2001, you can see that exponential growth in the production capability of the industry. Justin also showed that going from the current 160 to capability to have fruit available for export of 260 by 2030. So that just shows what's coming. That's as Justin said, those are trees in the ground already. Some people see it as a major risk, but really, if we get the market access right, as Justin alluded to, that turns this into a massive opportunity going forward. And that's what market access is the key to transforming that production potential into a sustainable, profitable future for the industry. Just in terms of that, we often talk about this, that we get a better understanding of what the scope of market access is, gaining, retaining, and optimizing of access to markets. People often only just think of the gaining. Retaining has become increasingly critical, particularly in Europe over the last year. Essential to get that right. But it's a suite of activities that's required to make this work. I've got a couple of slides here that just run through a number of the key markets and indicate what the current status is in unlocking some of the potential in them. On each of those items there where there's a bit of text, you'll see in brackets a date behind that at the end of it. That just indicates how long that issue has been on the agenda already. Some of you might interpret the long time span of being on the agenda as a problem. Looking the other way around, as Bruce says, you can see it as the opportunity that can be unlocked. So there lies huge, significant potential opportunity on the upside in unlocking some of those blockages. So the US, yeah, there are a number of issues that relate to the current protocol that are incremental improvements, but obviously the big one is opening up access for production from the majority of the country where black spot does occur, being able to export to the US. Long outstanding, an issue of major frustration where all the technical issues have been dealt with. USDA APHIS acknowledges it's a done deal in terms of the technical. The issue is being held up by a reciprocal trade requirement. So the Minister made mention of some of those obstacles to market access, and here's a classic demonstration of that. We do also have the imminent new issue. So these things are, access is never given. There's always a new surprise coming, and that relates to the requirements in terms of one of the regulations says you may not ship mixed fruit types in a load. So yeah, that's a challenge for us at the moment to overcome. Japan remains a very important key market for particularly grapefruit, and there is also massive upside opportunity in unlocking potential in Japan. Three issues: expanding the range of mandarins we have access for, and then hugely improved time temperature treatments and the inclusion of all navels in that the allowed access. Those issues have been long outstanding, and all the technical research issues have been dealt with. They're on the table, they've been presented. The issue is that Japan only deals with one access requirement or access application from a country at a time, and we've been held up by the AVO access request. I get promising messages that the AVO access issue is nearing successful completion. So we look forward to getting our teeth stuck into the citrus opportunities. South Korea, another important, valuable market, particularly for grapefruit. Major challenge in dealing with the market access requirement pertaining to mealybugs. We've pursued all sorts of avenues to try and resolve that, and it's very much, I think, the future lies in an incremental improvement, ability of growers to incrementally improve the management of mealybugs in the orchards that they prepare specifically for Korean export. So yeah. Vietnam, I'm very pleased to hear the Minister's reference to a forthcoming mission to Vietnam. We've been engaged in bilateral engagements to open up Vietnam on a protocol basis for a long time, and I was really quite optimistic that it would have been resolved by now. Unfortunately, the 11th hour in this protocol negotiation, the Vietnamese introduced two additional fruit fly issues, which clearly is outside of the scope of technical justification. So we're currently sitting here at the 11th hour with a technical barrier to concluding that. And Justin, I think this is a great opportunity to unlock this through such a structured engagement that the Minister was referring to. India, another market of massive opportunity, been able to unlock some of that potential is very much tied up in the requirement to allow us to apply cold treatment in transit. Currently, India requires that cold treatment be conducted pre-shipment or alternatively fumigation. Again, here's a case where all the required technical justification from India, required by India, has been concluded, and the issue lies in trying to get the Indians to actually just officially accept the data that has been presented and open it up further for us. China and Hong Kong. Hong Kong remains a very important component of that picture. In China, we see after the opening of the improved lemon treatment last year, or year before last, after some 6 years of negotiation, we see the lemon numbers starting to appear in the China export volumes. Philippines, another recent market, or recent in terms of the timeline of market access, 2021 opening of that market. Initially, lots of problems with implementing the protocol, but subsequently those have been resolved, and we look forward to that being developed and showing good potential. Thailand's a sorry story. We have access to Thailand. When you look at the volumes there, the exports to Thailand have dried up. And the reason for that is that the Thai officials have applied a peculiar interpretation to how the cold treatment within that protocol needs to be applied. It's contrary to the way in which that protocol is applied anywhere else in the world. It's basically a mirror image of the US protocol, and yet they've decided to interpret it completely differently from the way that the US applies their protocol. So there's an ongoing engagement with Thailand to get them aligned with a better interpretation of their protocol, which would massively open up Thailand opportunity for us again. Obviously, the big one is the European Union, the bulk of the volume in a single market. And as the Minister says, this is the key market. This is where we've been from the beginning, and we've stayed our course on this market, and that's despite massive challenges. The residue challenges are not new. They've come from the 1990s. I first started with that. I was fortunate enough to be able to hand it over the hospital pass to Paul Hardman, and but it's not new. It's been going, and we've managed to keep going in it. 2017, the introduction of the FCM regulations. Again, just in terms of some people might see some of the lack of breakthrough in a number of these markets as a frustration. 2017, when that regulation was introduced for FCM, it was actually a massive success story. The industry's investment in research in the years preceding to that enabled us not to go into a cold steri market like every other market that had an FCM regulation in it. And we mustn't forget the value of what that systems approach has given us. We would have 2017 have gone from nothing into a full cold steri, and we knew it was on the table. That would have been essentially a deal breaker. This industry would have been broken. So as much as the pain and suffering of subsequent ratcheting up of phytosanitary regulations in Europe might be, we are still carrying the value of what we were able to introduce there in terms of the systems approach in 2017. 2022 as well, last year, I think market access, we tend to quickly forget the successes and the value of the past contributions and focus on the challenges going forward. 2022, that as the Minister said, inappropriate introduction of a regulation without proper warning. We sat with 2,000 plus containers potentially lost. 2,000 loaded containers potentially lost, non-compliant. I have to recognize there were a few individuals that for 3 weeks from that spent practically day and night gathering information on every one of those containers, matching it up with another compliance opportunity within the regulation, and empowering DALRAD to issue replacement phytosanitary certificates. Elmer and Bernard, I know for 3 weeks, practically didn't sleep. With FBF's members' inputs on the history of each of those containers, they were able to essentially save all of those containers. Not without cost, massive cost, but at least they were saved. We sit with coming year, 2023, with a similar challenge in terms of implementing that pre-cooling to 2 degrees for oranges. And that's a coming challenge. And as has been said previously, that's essentially what this industry manages to do. It finds its way around those potholes in the road. And that is going to be the big one this season in Europe, is finding the way for getting oranges profitably into that market with this new 2-degree pre-cooling requirement. So in closing, sustainable market access is really a team effort. As Justin said, the basis of this is having the research capacity and outputs. Without it, you can't do anything. But with it on its own, it's not the solution either. You need many other components to make this work. You need the industry support structures to do all of these multi-party engagements. You need the fruit that complies, and that's where the growers come in. And those three we have. We have the world-class research, we have the world-class organization, we have the world-class producers and product. Where we're not feeling that we're getting the whole package put together is in terms of the functionality of the final negotiation that we can't do outside of government structures. Government has to do that. So therein lies the massive opportunity to, through an improved partnership, unlock this potential. And I was really encouraged to hear the minister earlier committing to making that partnership work. And that'll give realization to the opportunity that Justin unpacked to get to that 2060 vision. In closing, each role player, as Justin also said, has a role to play in market access. This is not something that somebody else does. Everybody has a role to play in making it possible. And in closing, folks, before we go to a panel discussion on some of these issues, a wish of best luck for 2023. I have the confidence that the industry will keep pulling the rabbit out of the hat, as it always has, and circumvent the potholes in the road. Thank you.